Hi, I'm Katie, and I'm joined today with Casey, Cookmore's Recipe of the Month winner. Casey, what recipe will we be making today?
We're going to be making my grandmother's Swedish cardamom bread. Katie, the first thing we're going to do is scald 1 cup of milk. It helps the yeast in the bread rise a little bit when you scald it. And we just want to bring it up to about 180 degrees or until there's little tiny bubbles right around the outside edge of the pan. Grab a wooden spoon if you would. Let's melt our butter into our scalding milk. I think we should probably turn this down. Get that butter right into the milk. And we've got sugar also. So we're going to just keep mixing these two together.
Okay.
Until the sugar is dissolved and the butter is melted. I'm just going to grab some warm water right around here behind you. And we're just going to mix in a smidge of sugar. What we're doing is proofing our yeast. And that just means that we're going to dissolve our yeast in warm water and give it a little something to eat. We're going to swirl this around, let it dissolve in the warm water, and after about 5 or 10 minutes, you're going to see nice little bubbles where the yeast is partying.
And it'll smell pretty good too.
Oh, yeah. All right, now we're going to pour this into our mixing bowl. We want it to cool down so that it's not too hot for our yeast.
I love this stainless steel mixing bowls because you can put your hand like right here and feel the temperature of it.
Fabulous. Let's check our temperature. That's still a little hot, so let's go ahead and we're going to take our egg and beat this up. Going to give our yeast a stir. You can see those nice little bubbles starting to happen. That's absolutely perfect. We can go ahead and add our yeast and our egg. All right, Katie, let's get this thing lifted up and the machine turned on. We just want to give this a nice mix. Just a couple more steps before we start our kneading process. Here's the cardamom, that's going in, and if you'll grab the little container of salt, we'll pop both of those in. All right, now we're going to start off with flour. And what we're going to do is just put in about 2 cups of flour to start off with. Turn our machine off to add our flour. Okay. Off now because it's time to start kneading. The dough is pulling away from the sides and we want to use the dough hook for that.
All right.
Oh, Katie, it's absolutely perfect. Now what we're going to do is take it out and just give it a good quick knead with our hands just to make sure that it's nice and smooth and perfect. To put down a little bit of flour. We've got just a bit left in the bowl. Give it a sprinkle around here. Kneading the dough, you're gonna push it with your hand, pull it back, give it a twist. Right. So you're gonna use the heel of your hand, pull it back, give it a turn, push it out, pull it back, and you see how nicely it stretches?
It's stretching and incorporating everything.
That's it. Okay, let's get this covered with a little plastic wrap or a kitchen towel, and then we're gonna set it off to the side for about an hour. It needs to double in bulk. Hey, Katie, let's check on this. It's been about 45, 50 minutes. Ooh.
It's definitely doubled in size.
And
it still
smells great. Okay, let's move forward. And you know, if you do me a favor, will you mix up our filling for the inside of the cake?
Absolutely.
If you'll just take the raisins, the cinnamon, the brown sugar, and the pecans and mix those together.
Sure.
All right, we're gonna turn our dough out onto the board. Cut the dough in half because this is enough to make 2 loaves. So we're just going to take the one and set that aside. For the wreath, what we're going to do is just roll this out into a nice big rectangle.
Sort of like a cinnamon roll.
That's it. Yes, that's exactly how we're starting it, just like a cinnamon roll. Now just roll from the center out. You want it about a 1/2 inch thick. And you know, you can, if you want, go ahead and put cardamom in there also.
Double the cardamom power.
You can. We've got our melted butter, and it's about 2 tablespoons. Let's go ahead and put about half of our nuts and raisins right on here.
All right.
You can help too if you want.
I want to get it all on my hands.
Yeah, get it on your hands.
Okay.
Now, we're gonna do just like a cinnamon roll. We're gonna roll this up. And would you do me a favor and grab me one of the cookie sheets?
Absolutely.
I've got a couple set there with parchment paper. Now, the big move. We've got to do this, get it onto the card. Okay, you slide it in. Perfect. Now, we want to form this into a circle. And you just want to seal your ends together. We're gonna take a knife or a pair of scissors. And we're gonna do slices all the way around on this.
Oh, wow.
Like this, and we're just gonna keep turning it. Now comes the fun part. You're gonna take
That wasn't the fun part?
You're gonna take one and flip it over. Leave this one this way, and then you take the next one and flip it over. So you've got a wreath that starts to happen. And I know it looks kind of funny right now, but when it rises and it cooks, it's all gonna fill in and puff up, and you're gonna have a beautiful wreath. Now, what we're gonna do is cover it with plastic wrap and let it rise again before we pop it into the oven.
It's really important that this dough stays moist.
Yes, absolutely, because if the top gets dry, it's not gonna rise. It needs to be moist in order to have flexibility to rise. All right, Katie, we have one more piece, don't we? Okay, here we go. On this one, let's do a traditional. This would be a family everyday breakfast. We're gonna cut this into thirds. How easy is that? And let's go ahead and you take one, I'll take one, and we'll get the other one. We're just gonna roll this out because we're gonna braid it.
Well, I have 3 sisters, so braiding is something we learned how to do early on.
Ah, there we go.
Starting right to left,
Yes.
right over.
Perfect.
In taking bread classes, we learned how to do up to 9-strand braids.
And now we're gonna pop that onto a cookie sheet and we're gonna let that rise. Hey, Katie. We've been at this for about 30, 45 minutes in the rising. Let's go ahead and take the plastic off because they are ready for a nice little brushing of egg yolk and cream. It's 1 yolk and a couple tablespoons of cream. If you just give that a nice coating on the top, I'll grab it and put it into the oven. We need to bake them for about 30 minutes in a preheated 350-degree oven. Okay, 30 minutes and let's make the frosting.
Perfect.
Okay, we've got powdered sugar, and if you'll drizzle in just a little bit of water,
Okay.
I'll grab a fork and I'll just start mixing it up. Now, I use water instead of milk on this because that way you don't have to put it in the refrigerator. You don't have to worry about the milk spoiling. Here we
It's
go.
gonna be fantastic.
That's it, it's ready to drizzle, and that's all you have to do. Just take it and drizzle. Right on the counter, there's our wreath. Isn't
That's beautiful.
very simple? This is what you dip in your morning coffee. This is what I would do for Christmas or Thanksgiving. Now, just grab your fork and drizzle.
All right.
Perfect.
This is beautiful.
Half for you, half for me.
All right.
Okay, I'm Casey.
I'm Katie.
We'll see you next time.